Let's talk a minute. Let's talk a minute about Milwaukee. Now, just so you think that this is not coming from a person who is follically challenged, and I hate to tell you, it's because my long and lovely locks are in ultraviolet and you can't see in that range, and that's your problem, not mine. Just because I appear bald does not make me a skinhead. Okay? Just because I wear a goatee doesn't guarantee that I'm a biker. And I don't want you to think that I'm giving in to my inner Darth Vader. So, back in a moment. Oh yeah, just so you know, this is a quick change. Voila! Yes, here we are, and I am the new Maddog. Now let me say about Milwaukee. There was a time in the first 24 hours or so, after the police officer, by the way, happened to be black. Oh, that's right, he was wearing a police officer's uniform, but happened to be black. And the victim, who, can you call him directly and fully a victim? This is a person who was involved in an action that was not legal, then took action, including trying to evade police detention for the action he had previously committed. And to top it off, turned around with a pistol to somebody. Not directly, because he obviously didn't get a shot off, but turned around with a gun in his hand that was loaded and ready to fire. Now the police officer has to decide, am I going home to my family, or am I getting shot? In that moment, that split second where he has the chance to make that decision, it is easy to crack off two shots. One hitting an arm and another hitting the chest. Not all that difficult, even if the shots were perfectly lined up, one right behind the other. Because as soon as you hit the arm, person yanks the arm back, now you've got the chest. But that is an aside. Why the fuck would you burn down your village? Milwaukee. You know, we're not talking some kind of civil unrest to free a nation from oppression. You're talking pissed off people who had nothing better to do than burn down their hometown and then scream, Black Power! Black Power! Black Power! How is that any more intelligent than white people burning down their fucking house and then screaming, What power? What power? What power? You just burnt down your own fucking house. Or you burnt down the gas station in your town. Well, guess what, motherfucker? It's going to be hard to get gas next week. Why? Because you burned the damn thing to the ground. Oh, did you burn down a grocery store? Guess what? You're not going to that grocery store for a while. Why the fuck would you burn down things in your own damn town? Why? How does that grant you power? All it does is tell the authorities that they shouldn't use the rubber bullets when they're putting down rioters. They should just load the lead in the magazine and remove the issue. What is the issue? Ignorance. Ignorance. And not even knowing that you're being pushed. This, now I know CNN, let's not accuse CNN of being a source of real news. But just on this Milwaukee thing. Milwaukee officer knew Seville Smith from high school, family says. Joe, I still know people from high school. Okay, I'm 48. I know people from high school. I know people that weren't in my high school that I've known since high school. But I also remember a guy's name. Guy, him and I had beef at some point. Okay? Whether it was him flexing or me choosing not to, that's fine. Fact is, could you say I was bullied? Maybe. Could I say I didn't like the guy? Yeah. Would I call him out today? I wouldn't even know what the hell he looks like. There are friends that I spent almost every day with in high school. I couldn't tell you what they look like today. Guys I still know. Guys I know who've progressed in their life to the point that they're doctors and lawyers and educators and such. But that is an aside. I know guys that were bullies and guys who were bullied. And some of the guys who were bullied became bullies. And some of the guys that were bullies became fairly nice guys. And some guys in the middle became jackasses. So what? But alright, so let's continue with this. He knew him from high school. Now that the Milwaukee police officer who fatally shot him had crossed paths before a lethal encounter that led to days of unrest, according to Smith's relatives and friends. Really? You know something? 23-year-old. He's barely out of high school. I mean, he's out of high school by a couple of years, but still. See, he failed to put down his handgun. And he got shot. Okay? Now, there's another unidentified 24-year-old. One of them bolted on foot. And the unidentified 24-year-old officer who shot him. Well, there's so much crap in here that is really just like saying that he had a personal vendetta against Smith. This stuff is meant to enrage people. Enrage people that don't realize that 90% of the crap from high school gets forgotten before the end of the summer. And usually by the end of your first year of college, you have other shit in your life. You don't have time for the crap that you put aside in childhood. You become, so this personal vendetta is probably, they remember them having guff. There's a couple of guys, one guy I remember, his name is Tony, I don't remember his last name. But man, I remember one day we had it out on the way home. I was, pounder on him, he was pounder on me. We ended up being friends for years. But you know something? A member of my family and two members of his family could recall for years how we were enemies. But we left elementary school and junior high friends. A friend of mine, Eric, a guy who used to not, because I used to carry around my locker under my arm. Man, he came running up one day, smacked those books up out of my arm, and then continued running straight up the stairs. I almost yanked him down off those stairs. We were the best of friends for a very long time. You know, it's just it just is. We were enemies at one stage and friends at another. And that's because, as kids, you're unbalanced. You don't make good decisions. Everything's on or off. There is no middle ground. There is no, well, they're all humans. And, they all just let them exist. But they go, with the personal vendetta crap. Then I think here at the very end here, they were talking about the officer and Smith were one-time classmates, and no one doubts that the officer knew Seville. How could he not? Do you know something? I forgot most of the people from high school about 20 minutes after I left. I mean, if they were friends, no, I didn't. But the fact is most people, I just said, yo, I don't need you in my life. Don't need you in my memory. Okay? Now, supposedly, this officer is an aggressive cop that was not well liked in his community. Yes, and yes, a black man did the shooting, but he was wearing a blue uniform and a badge. See, they're trying to divide. The writing in this article is trying to divide. It's not trying to unite anybody. It's not trying to heal wounds. He represented the mentality that people around here are less than human. We're enemies of the state. Something people do not realize what it's like to be an enemy of the state. But hey, that's another thing entirely. There's so much in this article that is really designed towards just ripping to, and like they talk about how the Smiths was a she described as a high school of this Kimberly Neal mourned a brother she described as a high school graduate who played basketball, not a man with a lengthy arrest record described by police. Well, something, when he got out of high school he probably did play ball. And probably while he was playing ball, fell in with the wrong crowds. And when he was falling in with the wrong crowds, he started making stupid decisions. And found his way into a lengthy arrest record. But there is so much, because on the very last line of very last paragraph of this article, on virtually every indicator of racial inequality, Milwaukee consistently ranks among the worst 5 cities in the country. That is the closing statement in this article. Bill Kirkos and Ryan Young contributed to the report. Okay? They're both CNN reporters, I assume. Now, yesterday, there were 5 articles on the top of the news. And it took to the 5th article to get something other than Milwaukee. Different things about Milwaukee. How much damage, how there's been, this disturbance for days. Things have finally calmed down. You know something? If you want to tear down your own house, tear down your own house and leave everybody else's alone. Because I don't want you tearing down my house. You know something? I'm already on oxygen. I have enough problems without some stupidity that, yes, if somebody came here to burn down my house, I'd shoot the fucker. Why? Because it's my damn house. It's where I fucking live. It's sheer idiocy to tear apart the place you live because you're pissed off that an officer, regardless of color, shot a brother. You know, y'all missed the whole damn point. You really miss the whole damn point. You're oppressing yourselves. You refuse to get an education. Refuse. And honestly, I'm not saying all blacks. So I know I have very many friends who just happen to be black. Some of them I didn't even know. Either were very light skinned or, didn't freaking matter. Didn't. What they were. They could have been purple and green. As long as it's not that festering purple and green coming out of sword. Ugh. But, I mean, their color was not the reason they're my friends. They're not my black friends. Like, there's a category of my friends that are black. I have friends. They happen to be black. Got some friends. I happen to be Hispanic. I have some friends. I happen to be Latino. I have some friends. I happen to be white. I got some friends. I happen to be from Thailand. Oh my goodness, Asians amidst my friends? Can't be having that. So I don't have any natural hair on my head. At least none that you can see. So, you're being railroaded by people who write words decisively written to divide. They're looking to tear apart because if they keep you in a position where you can feel oppressed by the man and by the society, you have more opportunities than I have as a disabled American veteran. I served my country. I raised my hand. I raised my hand to defend this country. I said I would stand in the darkness where others will not. Yes, I know that's not the oath. The point is, that's what you're expected to do when you're in the service. I chose to. But see, I'm not veteran enough because I didn't get to serve 2 years because I was declared, incapable of continuing with the service. Alright, I was injured in service. Shit went sideways. That's just the way life is. Deal with it. But I'm on disability for life. I've had 2 open heart surgeries. I now have a fucking pacemaker. I'm 48. I should be able to hold the beam over my head. Screw it in with the other damn hand. But I can't. Not anymore. I used to be a mountain amidst men. I could push harder because I could. I remember when I was 17 years old, and I have friends that will verify this, that we had a car that blew up both its front tires on the way to a Renaissance fair. And it was a frigid morning. And I had to play Jack. I had to lift the front end and hold it while my friends pulled the tires off. So I know I was more than capable. People, that if you get an education, even a self-run education, and you don't act stupid. Don't act like a criminal. Don't think like a criminal. Educate yourselves. Some of the most important education you can get yourself. Do you know you can go to college for free if you're just willing to audit the course? Now, you're not going to get a certificate at the end, but you'll get the knowledge you can apply somewhere, even at a job, because they don't really as much care about how many little sheets of paper you have as compared to what you can actually do. Now, I have ranted on for 22 minutes on this because people just are so fucking ignorant. And I'm not saying black folk. I'm saying everyone. Nobody realizes they're being railroaded into this thought process that you're this way and they're that way and he is this and this one's that and this one. And that guy back there, he's just trouble. You know something? Chill the fuck out. Start acting like you come from one species. And the whole species could come together and love one another. And it wouldn't matter a bit. It wouldn't kill anyone for everyone to share a little love. Share a little love. You know, show some respect for yourself and others. I understand you're in difficult circumstances. Do you realize that people have been bootstrappers all throughout history? They picked themselves up by their own bootstraps because they chose to. Instead of wallowing in a mire of shit, they chose to move forward. Choose to advance yourself. Choose to not accept being taught you're a victim. Move forward. Now see, I have to overcome just to be able to move forward with a day-to-day process. I'm lucky I'm not dead today. I was told I wasn't going to live to see 30 when I was 11. By the time I was 14, I was almost an emotional wreck. I was a total emotional wreck for my 15th birthday because I knew I was halfway to dead. My mother, the woman who gave birth to me, has received 3 copies of my death certificate. 3 copies. I've had to prove to Social Security and the U.S. military I'm still fucking alive more than once. So you know something? Don't tell me you don't fucking... I know nothing about overcoming because I'm fucking white. You know something? I have had a bad valve my entire fucking life. I fell out on runs early on in my military career. I did not realize that it was because I had a bad valve. But I still pushed and I made it through boot camp. And I pushed and I made it through, continued pushing and pushing and pushing. And honestly, I overextended myself and I ended up getting hurt. But you know something? And then I spent decades wallowing in shit. Well, shit. You know, pick yourself up. Move forward. Garner information for yourself. There's this lovely thing called the internet that does not have entirely accurate information everywhere. But there's a lot of good information out there. There are free courses you can take all over the internet. There's free information all over YouTube. Pull it in for yourself. Get some speak proper English. Not speak uneducated English. Because if you sound uneducated, people will assume you're uneducated. Do you know that at one point in my life, I was able to get a Series 7 and Series 63 license, which is a stockbroker's license. Okay, Series 7 is so that you can sell in your state. Series 63 is so you can sell in other states. Okay, but let's just get into that. I got a stockbroker's license. Do you know that at the time I didn't actually have a legally completed high school education? I joined the military in a time where they required you to complete your high school education. I scored high enough on the ASVAB that they realized I had well more than high school education already under my belt. And all they really wanted me to do was decide, did I want to complete high school and have a choice of any job, which is really what I should have done. But I had a pregnant girlfriend. I didn't want that to become an issue, so I got into the service in time so that I could make sure that I could come home, marry her, go to my first duty station, and bang, I was a married man, and, life was good and lollipops. I even got in trouble for getting married while I was on leave. Okay, I was supposed to get, to apply for the right to marry while I was on my way to my first duty station, and I did not know that. So that was one of many little itty-bitty black marks on my military career. The major thing is, people, just realize that you don't have to have the stupid piece of paper. What you do have to have is knowledge. Get it in your head. Knowledge. Absorb it. Take it into you. And then realize, hey, life becomes the challenges you face, the challenges you overcome, and buy into the meritocracy. Have merit. Don't have accommodation. Accommodation is making sure that you're weak, and that when somebody has to be cut, well, you might be cut because you're the weakest link. But if you have knowledge, and knowledge is power, use the power that is in front of you, that's given to you freely. Scoop it in. Absorb it. And become one with peace. Peace out to you today. Peace out to you tomorrow. Peace out to you always. And as the illumANark, I am peace out.